Okay, so you are welcome. We want to discuss the strategic vision, the mission, and objectives. And by the end of this discussion, you should be able to explain the purpose of mission and vision statements. You should be able to identify the role of organizational values in shaping strategy. We should be able to differentiate between strategic goals and objectives. And then we would also be able to analyze and draft vision and mission statements. Okay, so we go straight to business. What is a vision statement? If we say a vision statement is what defines an organization's long-term aspiration, all right, or what it aims to achieve ultimately. The vision statement is what paints the picture of the future of that organization. So it shows us where the organization will be in that future. All right. So it paints a picture of the future of the organization. And the vision statement is such that it inspires employees and also inspires stakeholders. Because, of course, if you're working within an organization and maybe you are starting very small, the vision statement makes you have at least an image of how the organization will be like in about 5 years or 10 years or 20 years time. And that inspires you to keep working, even though current conditions may not show that the organization is really doing well. Okay, so the vision has to be forward looking and it sets a broad direction. Okay, so the vision is forward looking, sets a broad direction in a way that inspires employees and then other stakeholders. Then we have the mission statement. The mission statement defines the organization's fundamental purpose. It outlines what the organization does, who it serves or who its target customers are, and how it adds value. So the mission statement, it gives the fundamental purpose of the business, who that business is targeting, what the business does, and how it adds value. Okay, so you would notice that the mission statement is more immediate than the vision. The mission statement focuses on what is done currently, and then the vision statement looks at the future, or the vision focuses on the future. The mission statement focuses on present activities of the organization. Okay, so both the mission and vision statements are very important in strategy. Why? Because they provide clarity. They help to give a sense of direction and a sense of purpose for the organization. And this, both the sense of purpose and the sense of direction, helps to unify the organization's actions. So actions in present times will be such that they will help the organization to achieve or to fulfill the future vision that it has. Okay, so the vision and mission statements, they help provide clarity. Okay, and they also guide the daily operations and help managers make decisions that align with long-term goals. So you'll notice that you are making short-term decisions, but because you have both the mission statements and the vision statements, your short-term decisions are all aligning with your long-term goals. And this ensures a consistent focus across all the departments within the organization. All right. So if you want to have a vision statement, the vision statement has to be effective. So what are some of the characteristics of an effective vision statement? The first one says it has to be inspirational and aspirational. All right. So your vision statement should be such that it is ambitious enough to motivate your employees and other stakeholders. Remember, one of the reasons for having the vision statement is to inspire your employees and your stakeholders. So with this in mind, your vision statement, it should be ambitious enough to motivate your employees and other stakeholders. So if you have a vision, like, for example, to create a world where no one gets hungry, then it motivates your employees and it motivates your stakeholders to work beyond the current means that they have. So you may have some limitations, but because of this vision statement that you have, it inspires you to put in a lot of effort, right? The vision statement should also be clear, concise, and focused. An effective vision should be easy to understand and should be memorable, so that even when the employees are not reading, in their minds, they should be able to memorize the vision statement and keep it with them wherever they are, so that it will motivate them to work. Okay. All right. So, the vision statement should, as much as possible, avoid jargons. It should be straightforward and ensure that everyone in the organization relates to it. All right, and can rally around it, from leadership to frontline workers. Every member of the team should be able to rally around the vision statement. Okay. Then it should be future oriented. Okay, remember we said that the vision statement focuses on the future, not the present. So your vision should depict the organization's desired future state and guide all strategies towards achieving this ideal. It's ideal because sometimes it can be very, very ambitious. Okay, so the vision should depict the organization's desired future state. Where do you want to be? Okay, so that all strategies can be geared towards achieving that ideal. Then we also look at some characteristics for an effective mission statement. Remember, we said that the mission statement focuses on what is currently happening within the organization. All right. The first characteristic we look at is that it should be purposeful and clear. The mission statement should be purposeful and clear. It should clearly express why the organization exists, the primary focus of that organization, and this will help the employees and stakeholders to connect with the goals, right? So the mission statement should clearly state why the business exists and its primary focus. Okay, I believe this is clear. Then we have the fact that the mission statement should be specific to that organization. You cannot have a mission statement that has already been used by somebody else. Then that means that you are not any different from that business organization. Okay, so the mission must reflect the unique identity of your organization and its activities. Okay, it should include your industry and the specific needs of your customers and stakeholders. So you don't just sit down and pick someone's mission statement and use as yours. Your mission statement should show your uniqueness, right? Then it should also be grounded in organizational values and culture. A strong mission aligns with the organization's core values and culture. So if you are an organization that believes in innovation, that believes in customer focus or in sustainability, then this should be reflected in your mission statement, okay? So that there's consistency across the strategies that you used in your operations or in your daily activities, right? So the mission statement should align with your core values and your culture as an organization. Okay. Then we look at organizational values. Remember, we are saying that your mission statement should align with your core values. So if we say organizational values, what are the organizational values? All right. And what role do they play in guiding strategy? If we say organizational values, they are fundamental principles and beliefs that shape the organization's culture and guide how decisions are made within that organization. It also shows how employees conduct themselves within the organization. So the core values of one organization may not necessarily be the same for another organization. All right. So these values are fundamental principles and beliefs within the organization that shape its culture, guide how decisions are made, and how employees conduct themselves in that organization. Okay, so it emphasizes on aspects like integrity, customer focus, or customer centricity, and then some also look at teamwork. All right, so you as an organization come up with your values. What then is the role of organizational values in guiding strategy, right? If you want to come up with strategy, or if you want to strategize for your business, then values are very, very critical. Okay, so for example, if you have a value on sustainability, what it means is that every activity within the organization should help you to achieve sustainability. Otherwise, you are not fulfilling your mandate. Okay, so the values help the organization to align their strategies in a way that makes it stand out. Okay, so organizations that align their strategies with their values are more likely to earn the stakeholders' trust and achieve long-term success. Because if you talk about customer centricity or customer focus, and all your activities are such that you respect the views of the customer, you take into consideration what your customer needs and wants are, then your stakeholders know that you are an organization that works, or that conducts business taking into consideration your core values. And this makes you earn trust, all right? And then also helps you to achieve long-term success with your business, okay? Values also help with competitive advantage, right? If you have very strong values and you are implementing or you are conducting business, ensuring that you have your values in operation, then what happens is that it makes you have a competitive advantage, a high competitive advantage on the market. Okay, so strong shared values become a source of competitive advantage by differentiating your organization from others and fostering loyal customer base. Okay, so it helps you to have a high competitive advantage on the market. Then we look at goals and objectives. What are the difference? What is the difference if we say goals and objectives? A goal is broad. So goals are broad, long-term outcomes that align with the organization's vision. Okay? They provide direction, but they are not highly specific. So for example, we can have a goal like expand international presence or lead in technological innovation. You notice that this is very broad. All right. You don't even know how to measure this. This is the goal. Then we have objectives. Objectives, on the other hand, are precise. They are short-term actions that are measurable and lead directly to achieving the organization's goals. So if you have a goal, the objectives are what will help to achieve those goals. So unlike the goals, objectives break down a broad ambition into actionable steps. Okay, so if we want to increase market share and it's an objective, you realize that if you say increase market share by 10% within 2 years, it's specific, you can measure, all right? And after the timeline, you would know if you have really increased market share by 10%. So goals are broad, objectives are more precise, okay? Objectives are also measurable, unlike goals, which are just broad and you cannot really measure, okay? So it's important that objectives are smart. Otherwise, they are not objectives and will also be termed as goals because they are also just broad and cannot be measured. But objectives should be smart. Smart meaning they should be specific, they should be measurable, they should be achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So if you are setting objectives, what it means is that you should have all of these elements in the objective to make it a smart objective. The objective should clearly define what needs to be accomplished. It should allow for tracking purposes, all right, where you are able to evaluate or assess if really the objective has been achieved. It should be realistic and within reach, all right, focusing on what you have or your available resources. The objective should also directly relate to broader organizational goals. It should be relevant to the goals. And then finally, it has to set a deadline for completion so that there will be that added sense of urgency and focus to get the objective achieved. Okay, smart objectives ensure that the organization's strategic intentions are actionable and can be systematically evaluated. When this happens, you are able to guide efforts towards the measurable progress. So you are able to measure what is happening and you get to know if that objective will be achieved by the timeline you set or not. Okay. All right. So it's also very important to align the goals with the vision and mission statements. We have spoken about mission and vision statements already. So the goals and objectives should be such that they align with the organization's vision and mission statements. Goals and objectives should come out or should stem from the mission and vision statements. So they should be derived from the vision and mission statements. Why? Otherwise, they will not be aligned. Okay, so once you have your vision and mission statements, the goals and objectives should be derived from those statements in a way that helps the organization to support its core purpose and long-term aspirations, right? So if you are coming up with a goal or an objective, the focus is that it should align with the vision and mission statements. How you do this is to derive the goals and objectives from the vision and mission statements. Okay? All right. So for our activity, you are to think about a business, right? So your group activity, you think about a business, one business. And I entreat that each member of the team participates in the brainstorming process. All right. So you come up with a business, you give it a name. So present the name of the business and then the nature of its operation. So you tell us the business name and what it does. All right. And then once that is done, you draft a sample mission and vision statement for the company, as well as come up with its values. All right, so you come up with the core values of the business, and then you evaluate the effectiveness of the statements. So you will evaluate the effectiveness of your mission statement, of your vision statement, and then So based on their clarity, their alignment with the strategic goals, and reflect on the organization's unique values. So you're coming up with the mission statement, the vision statement, your core values, and strategic goals. Okay, so you will come up with the strategic goals also, and then you check and see if your strategic goals align with your vision and mission statements. We'll be discussing this in class. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to drop the questions on our page, and then they will be discussed. Okay, so each group will present their work to the class, and then we will discuss in detail your submissions. All right, thank you all very much. We'll meet in class.